Hi guys, welcome back. If you've already watched part 1 and part 1, the second half, two separate videos, you are now ready for this video, which is officially part 2. So we have a part 1, a part second half of part 1, and now part 2. So we have a bunch of new ideas to perfect a little bit more on the Buck 299 build. So stay tuned. We're going to do a lot. Okay, we're back here at part 2 of Buck 299 build. Now what we're going to do today is we're going to remove the main part of Buck 299's head. We're going to separate him here. Yeah. So we'll separate Buck 299's head, which is the CD radio player. That works, of course. Don't forget, we can plug him in, or we can do the battery operated stuff. And remember, down here, if you've done these steps already, if your parent or other family member or good friend of the family has helped you already, and you already have done this step here, but we're good to go there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that back on. If you did that, if you did this here with us on the first 2 videos, then you should be good to go. And you fastened this to your coffee container, or whatnot. It could be any kind. It doesn't have to be. Remember what I had said earlier in the first 2 videos, it does not have to be this particular coffee container. It can be something else. But what we're going to do is, and you definitely need your experienced helper, whoever's helping you kids, or, you know, of course, if you're doing this yourself. But anyhow, whether you're a young kid or an older kid or whatever, this next stage here, we're going to actually cut some of this off. So whatever you have, yours might work a little different. But I think if you had found, like, you know, I was saying before, if you actually found a radio CD player similar to mine, it is a little top heavy. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep these on. I have these on for a reason. We're going to keep these on. And come on out with me, we're going to do a little cutting. Okay, if you have the same coffee container as me, that's fine, you will proceed. If you have something else, you can wait a little further into the video, and I'll explain. You can improvise, but stay tuned. If you do have this or a similar coffee container, make sure that you take the washer. I got washers and nuts to put everything, the center and everything, put those on. Got rid of all the glue stuff. So take your washers and take the nut and the washer off, and then separate the turnstile from the coffee container. And I know where I'm cutting mine in half, so you'll measure down and you'll cut it in half. You take it right over here to the, well, you have your parent, a good family member that has this type of tool. You have them cut this for you. You do not try to do this on your own, okay? And very gently, they will take care of this for you. It's very, very delicate procedure, and you don't want to mess around with stuff like this when you don't know. So make sure that you have a parent or a family member or helper that knows how to work with tools. They might even have a bigger saw than me. They can go through it all at once. Here. Oh, sorry about that. I'm still here. Alright, so now we have our coffee can separated. And we'll go back inside here and put this stuff together. Make sure you clean up after yourself too. You don't want anybody getting upset with you for not cleaning up your messes. Oh, it's just me. There's Barnachew. He is on his guard detail. Okay. Back in here, we get our parts here. All right. And I'm gonna pause here for a second. Well, it'll be continued for you, but I'm gonna go get a pair of shears. And here we are, back. I got my shears. And I can take these off now until I might have to do another cut later. But cutting with the shears, I don't have to worry about any particles hitting me. Now, the thing here is always save. Remember this. Always save your parts. Because remember, small, whether they're tiny like this, you know, or bigger like this, who knows, you might even, some of my greeblies, they're pretty large, and my wife lets me know. More junk, you've heard me say it before. Anyhow, in this, this scenario here with the buck $2.99 build, I'm going to set this part aside here, this cut off half, I'm going to set that aside. And I'll use that for something else. And I'm going to bang this. Hey, look at that, guys. Barnabas and Gus Barnabas Chewbacca, as you guys know, is his name. Barnabas Chewbacca Mirabella is the Yellow Lab's name. And I call him Barnachew for short. And of course, little Gus, the pug there, they're playing right now in the kitchen, which is good. It kind of keeps them out of, keeps them out of trouble, and keeps them out of my hair for a little bit, so I can do some of this video here for you guys. Play nice, guys. Here, let me show them to you real quick. Hey, Barnachew! Barnachew and Gus! Oh, Barnachew's got a toy. Come on, Gus. Okay, anyhow, they're having fun. So then this is the side that we keep, of course, because that's the side that has our carousel dome attachment there with our hole that you should have drilled in there already now, all centered up like that for this. But we're not putting this on yet. We're going to set this aside for right now, because right now we have to worry about anchoring this to the main base. This is just, you have the head part here, the head of buck $2.99, and the bottom part of his cylinder, where all his brains, so to speak, go in through there from his main brains down into his other subsystem brain, which is going to control all the other things like armatures and whatnot, jet propulsion units, etc. Hey, hold on one second. Let me pause this. Sorry about that. They were getting a little bit too loud. I want to be able to hear myself think, talking to you guys to make this part 2 video of buck $2.99. So I had to separate them. They're kids too, you know. They're just four-legged. With hair all over them. Literally. Yeah. Shed. So anyhow, as I was talking about, we're going to fasten this to a base. Now don't worry, kids and parents, family members, or if you're just just a regular individual just building this, don't worry. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do about a base? Improvise. Always improvise. The main thing is you find this, of course, the buck $2.99, sunglasses, eyes on top of the stereo system. And you could have a different neck. You don't have to have the same neck piece as me. You can improvise, and if you have to, every house surely has a box. If you don't have a box, I'm sure you can ask, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, or cousin, somebody in the family or a close friend, I'm sure has a box, and it can be various size. Don't make it too big though. I wouldn't make it any bigger than bigger than like 1.5 feet. And use your tape measure for that. So you kids that are watching, 1.5 feet. You got 18 inches on there, of course. So 18 inches is 1.5 feet. And different tape measures are different. Like this one says 1.6 feet right above the 18. I mean, when you're shopping for these things, theirs is probably reading backwards, but you can see it says 1F6 right above the 18. So 1.5 feet. Keep it an average of no bigger than 1.5 feet. And what we're going to do is I'm going to pause this and then I'll show you, but I'm going to pause it so I can do the step, and then that way it won't be so long of a video. Okay, so we'll get the base out, find your base, and you can pause the video, and I'm going to pause and I'll be right back with the next step. Of course, I'm not going to be using a box. This is to make it more affordable for you guys. Alright guys, I'm already on my end with my base, which I had said before I paused. It's not going to be a cardboard box for mine. Mine's going to be plastic. Now, if you're able to find yourself a hard plastic type of box, it could be any type of, it could be a storage container, which is really perfect for this. If you can't, because everybody's going to have something different. You might be fortunate enough to find the exact things, and then you might not. That is why I'm, teaching you right now to improvise, so that your buck $2.99 will be a similar. It's kind of like your other movies. Like take Star Wars for instance. All the different robots they build. They have a bunch of R2-D2s. They're called R2 units. So they don't always look the same as the R2-D2 we know. It could be an R2 whatever. But it's an R2 unit. It has the same style of body, but slightly different variations. So you have the same make, but a different model, just like a car. Each year of car is not the same. They always make subtle differences. So you take your cardboard box, or if you have a plastic box, that's fine too. But if you take your cardboard box, we're going to keep it simple for everybody that doesn't, have, maybe the easiest access to getting these parts. You take your box, and your part that's like this, take it and fold it. Fold it in like this. Fold one, and then fold two, then fold that. Fold this one down, and then hold that all down here, reach in here, pull that out, tuck that in, and I'm sure that you guys know that. So then you have a nice, closed up area that's not all, hanging. And you can tape this with duct tape or whatever kind of tape, scotch tape, whatever tape you have, tape that to hold this all together so it doesn't, come apart like that, okay? Now at a later date, you know, if you're going to use all the stuff that I do, or if you're just building it for fun, you'll want to get in here later. But, you know, tape's not going to really impede that. You can cut the tape loose, boom, boom, boom. Now that's like that. We're not going to have it like this, though, depending on what size box you have. If you have a box like, you know, shaped like this, we're not going to have it standing up tall like that. We're going to actually lay it down. So take this part that we folded and tape that and put that in the back. And now I'm going to pause, but what we're going to do is you're going to take this, and if you have your hot glue gun, or if you have another glue source, and if you have to glue and wait for it to dry, then pause this video. But what you'll do is you'll take your coffee container or other cylinder style working craft piece that you have, and you're going to mark this. You'll put it right in the center. It don't have to be exact perfect, but try to get it as close to center as possible. So you sit it right there, so it'll look like this. Okay, and for the top view be looking like that if you're looking down from the top. You know, boom, boom, glue that in, and then of course once you have that glued in, you can you know, bolt your pieces back on. And if you haven't have your holes drilled yet, this is a good time to get those drilled. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, this just show you what it's going to look like so far. And this is before he gets painted too, of course. Don't forget, you know, we're going to paint him when all this is said and done. So, then you got your buck $2.99, and get that glued down to your base here, and then, you know, main top part of his body frame. Okay. So you go ahead and get that done, and I'm going to get mine done, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, guys, I'm back. I'm sure it was just a brief second for you. Maybe, I don't know, you paused or whatever. But anyhow, we're back, and by now you should have your neck piece, which sits below the, you know, the neck piece that sits below buck $2.99. The cylinder piece that goes in here, and then that part that attaches, you know, in here. So then now we're here. So right now, when I paused for the break there for you to do yours and catch up, now you should have this, you know, like we had discussed. You should have this glued on here or centered. Now, my particular project is on a hard plastic body. Now, you can do this different ways too. You don't have to just glue it like that. You can actually do stuff different. Like here, what I did to accommodate my plastic base, I had to cut a couple sections out. So I cut these sections out here, and I keep them. Don't throw nothing away, because these, believe it or not, will come in handy somewhere. These are greeblies now. And I had to cut these out so that mine will rest on top of my plastic box that I found. So now, what you can also do is you can also cut yours out. You can cut yours like this too. You can find a different way though. You can, when you cut in, you can cut a section at the front or back or the two sides and cut out, and instead of removing this part here, you could remove some of the other parts there in order to create, like if you look at it this way, in order to create a little flap that you can, you know, so that you can fold this, you know, like that on the box, and maybe reinforce it, go on the inside, have your parent or family member or friend, you know, drill a hole on both sides of each piece, you know, bend that, you know, match them up, put them together like that after you've cut those out with a pair of, you know, good strong shears. Bend that, and now then go, you know, unfortunately cut the thing and go back inside if you want to do it that way instead of just glue, which would be a lot better way too anyhow. But you know, go back under the box and then bend it when you after you drill your holes, bend that piece and then put this like a washer on the inside and have that on the top, and then bolt them. With nut bolt washers. Make sure you put a washer on both sides, and preferably get a lock nut, and that way it won't keep coming off all the time. Because if it keeps coming off, it becomes a headache. I have to get them for mine. I've forgotten, didn't get the lock nuts. Now I'm regretting that a little bit. Not totally regretting it, but it's like it would make it a little easier and quicker. So I got to get lock nuts so that I don't have to keep tightening them up every so often. Once in a while when I'm working on stuff, Buck's head might come loose and we had a little spill there. I haven't plugged in. Hopefully he still works his radio and stuff. If not, I might have to get another one. But anyhow, we're going to get this stage going here, and give me 1 second. I'll show you where I'm at, and then you can compare to what you have. Okay, what I have on my plastic base is $2.99, and head there. Now I'm going to show you a piece I'm going to be doing here next after you get your head attached to your box or your plastic or whatever base that you have. I'm going to show you how to make one of these, and your family member, friend, or whoever. There's different ways to do this, but I have an aluminum brake. Not everybody has an aluminum brake, but there's other ways that you can do this, and I'll explain. And but what I do is cover up my pieces here. That'll get glued in place. And $2.99 is really starting to take shape. I'm going to pause this for a second, and I'm going to show you how to make these. Mine are made out of aluminum, but you can do other stuff. Okay, keep in mind these are cosmetic pieces, as we say. Cosmetics, making something look more realistic. These are aluminum, and I've made different parts like this for Shorty, Lefty, and Ivan the Eighth. And of course now with $2.99, this is the first time that you will see this. And I still have some trade secrets that I don't show. That's why I'm not completely showing the whole base unit totally. I'm just giving you the main, structure so that you can build yours too. But there's some things yet for the film and the miniseries that I can't show. So that's why I'm not showing the whole complete base unit on $2.99. But anyhow, these pieces here, get your tape measure, and this was like 1.5 inches and 2 3/4 inches. So each side is 1.5 inches, and the main part here is let's make sure. Yes, that's 2 3/4, and then 1.5 inches on each side, and then this is a 1/2 inch bend and crimp that, So when you add your pieces, you can make a different dimension too. It does not have to be exactly like this. You can make it smaller, you can make it a little bigger, whatever. But as long as you make a rectangular shape, you can make this out of a block of wood. You can make it out of another, a cardboard box, a smaller cardboard box that happens to be rectangular shape, similar like this. And you can keep the back for gluing on, or you can cut it off however you want to do. And then like my plastic box here, how I'm doing mine, you could actually take yours and you could glue them on here like this. You could glue them like this, however you want to do this. These next stages are all up to you how you want to do it, so you can make your own individual styled $2.99 robot. Just like I had said earlier about the R2D2 unit. You have the make and the model. So you have a buck unit, if you want to call it a buck unit, and $2.99 is the make. So maybe you want to make the $2.95